eventually you get absorbed in, and you are Sonic.
Season's greetings, everyone, and welcome back to No Repeat, a podcast where we pick 3 songs every week with no repeats and no do-overs to create a perfect playlist for every film on the Hallmark channel. Joining me this week are my co-stars, Tyler Reed.
Ho ho, my fellow elves.
And Sean Evans.
Father, Son, and Santa Claus.
I really thought you were going to do Father, Son, and House of Gucci.
I was gonna do that, but then I thought to myself, can I mess up my Italian accent halfway through most of my lines?
Boom! Cannot wait to see this movie.
Wait, what movie are we talking about?
It's going to be so camp.
Oh, you are not wrong about that in any way.
Mamma Mia 2?
No! You are totally...
Nailed it!
You are totally out of the loop on everything. Oh my gosh. We will talk about this on Billy Joe Armstrong's Middle School Notebook, but Lady Gaga is starring in a new dramatic motion picture called House of Gucci about the assassination of the head of the Gucci family by his ex-wife, who Lady Gaga is playing. And in the trailer, she does this very ridiculous over-the-top line reading where she crosses herself and says, Father, Son, and House of Gucci. And it's amazing.
Mamma Mia.
That alone is going to make me pay $20 to see that film.
Oh, don't
Sure.
don't waste.
I'm in.
Save it for the thing, Sean. Just save it.
But we're not here to talk about that kind of campy movie today. We're here to talk about very many other different kinds of campy movies. Tyler, what was our challenge this week?
This week, we were trying to find the perfect song that got rejected for a Hallmark Christmas movie. Submitted by... I forget.
Taste Swifty Fan 13.
Submitted by Taste Swifty Fan 13. Thanks, Taste Swifty Fan 13. And if you submit your own ideas for a challenge, DM us, add us, however you want to do it, on Instagram or Twitter at NoRepeatPod, or you can always send us an email, a little bit of snail mail, a little slower format, at norepeatpod@gmail.com.
So, for those who maybe haven't watched a Hallmark holiday movie,
I have not.
I don't know exactly how to describe them. They're like the most predictable rom-coms in the world, made on a shoestring budget with D-list celebrities. But the thing that separates them is truly how predictably exactly the same they all are. It's like getting dinner at the Olive Garden. You're sitting at a different table, but the whole experience is exactly the same. Would you agree with this statement, Sean? I know you've seen a couple of these.
Yeah, you nailed it. It's kind of like a math formula with these kind of things. There's some drama, there's some heartache, then stuff sort of resolves itself, then the drama reoccurs, usually in the form of an animal dying or an ex-lover coming back in your life. It depends on what holiday it is. Or somebody getting murdered. That's a whole nother Hallmark genre. If you got like the...
But those aren't usually the holiday ones.
Yeah, no, the holiday ones are very much like ex-lover comes back into your life, or animal dies or something. I remember watching a very tragic, formulaic movie on Hallmark a few years back called The Christmas Rabbit. You want to guess who dies at the end of the movie, and you want to guess the rabbit, you'd probably be right because it's a children's book and all animals die at the end of children's books, especially if they're on the cover. But yeah.
I mean, they're all exactly what Sean said, but the thing that is perhaps most obnoxious about these movies to people who aren't into them, which is simultaneously the thing that people who are into them love, is how, like, stupidly narratively convenient everything is. I watched one of these with my partner last Christmas where the main character goes back to their hometown after they lost their job at their big, busy law firm in the city, and they haven't told their city boyfriend yet, but they come back to their hometown, and a strapping young lad delivers the Christmas tree to the family home right when they're getting there with all their bags. And that becomes the love interest until, surprise, boyfriend came home from the city. What am I going to do? I have to choose. And lo and behold, you choose the handsome Christmas tree farmer because he knows the spirit of Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, like a city slicker. There's no way they know the spirit of Christmas.
Right. That's perhaps the most like universal theme of these movies besides Christmas spirit is everyone from the city is angry and sad.
Right. And they return to where they came from in the
it's not because
country.
it's convenient, you could like walk around to like go to your stores or whatever, you save the planet.
No, you move there when you've lost the Christmas spirit. They kick you out of Snowfall Hills and send you to New York City. Until your late 20s, when your biological clock starts ticking and you realize maybe there is something to Christmas spirit after all.
Right. Yeah, after you've accepted for a few years that you become a heartless humanist.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, exactly. If you have all the answers, then don't worry about it. That's probably what most of the signs would say at the end of the movie as the credits roll.
So with that being said, now that we've summarily dunked on these movies, they do often have very good punny names, both in the title and the name of the town, and often even in the names of the characters. And so I felt like that had to be a crucial element of this challenge, at least for me. Tyler has shared with us a Lifetime movie
this is good.
holiday generator. I guess we'll do that real quick. So the way this works is you tell your birth month and the day you were born, and it comes up with the plot of a holiday movie. Sean, you want to share what your holiday movie would be?
At first, it sounds like a bad joke because it says "Your Mother."
Okay, yeah.
Right, but the actual title is "Your Mother Reunites Mr. and Mrs. Claus."
Ooh. Usually, you would think that the mother would be trying to break them up, but she's a matchmaker. She's
saving Christmas.
Therapist.
Are you saying that
Mrs. Sean Evans is saving Christmas?
He just called my mother a homewrecker. I'm a little bit pissed right now.
Well,
that was my. I feel like that's like you said. It would sound like a your mom joke.
Sean and I's birthdays are like a week apart, so mine also starts with your mother and ends with delivers all the gifts for a missing Santa.
Oh, that's...
So you want
I can see that.
You want to cast aspersions on my mother based on that plotline, Tyler?
No, it's great. She's filling in the job. She's doing the job that it can happen. I just said that Sean's mom is a relationship therapist. That's great. She's helping them get back together with their Christmas spirit because Mrs. Claus moved to the city and she wanted to be a Neapolitan woman or whatever. She wanted to experience the...
She wanted to be a flavor of ice cream?
Yeah.
Trying to be
Metropolitan? There we go.
That's the word you're looking for there.
Anyway,
Oh.
your ex-roommate creates an app to help with Xmas spirit.
And then you fall in love.
That fall in love with my roommate. And also Christmas.
Well, one of the best things about these movies, in my mind, is that they are an opportunity for absolutely ludicrous titles, character names, and town names. Everything in these movies can be a pun. Anything can be related to Christmas if you try hard enough. For example, there is one of these movies, actually one of the more popular ones, called Holiday in Handcuffs, where Melissa Joan Hart gets arrested and has to pretend to be her arresting officer's boyfriend for his family Christmas dinner. Can't make it up, folks. Melissa Joan Hart, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, in handcuffs at the Christmas dinner table.
Yeah, seems good. I don't see what the problem is.
So I tell you this to say, I expect you both to pitch me a Hallmark-themed Christmas movie when you come up with your song, because that is absolutely the track I took this week. I was like, what is a song that I can, like, use the title of the song as also maybe the title of the movie and build like this is what would have been the Hallmark movie of this song, you know? And I feel like there's a lot of opportunity there because you can really kind of make one of these movies about anything as long as it takes place at Christmas. Like recently they've started making queer movies that fit this mold, which everyone on the one hand is like, yay, more gay rom-coms, but on the other hand, they're truly just like swapping out a man and a woman for two men or two women and making the exact same movie. And it's like, I don't think that's the representation we were looking for. So I guess I'm like playing into that. I want to be like, what is the cookie cutter movie I would make with absolutely no effort if I wrote the script in a day? What about you guys? What was your approach?
Did like an inverse. I was like, well, you know, a lot of these movies played safe. You know, they're usually like human focused. You know, they're usually very like, you know, like they're about like, I mean, they don't really have like any animated movies, right? Like they have like a few, but it's mostly like it's a people centric thing. It's the dealing of the flesh on the flesh and all that. And I'm like. And it's usually like it's about Christmas, but it's like the Hallmark Channel is not really like it's like a Christian channel, but it's not really like that kind of Christian. So like I don't know, I kind of just wanted to just pick a song that I feel like, you know, like play this song to scare a nice old lady.
Sean, what was your tactic here?
I wanted to find a song that I felt like could work in a standard Hallmark Christmas movie, but then once you listen to the lyrics or something, it just didn't work. Like it was a little too sad. Like it was too real. I think I nailed it.
Yeah, I think you and I both took a pretty similar tack on this one.
I didn't want to like. I thought it would be too easy to just pick like, you know, Bleed by Meshuggah or something. That would never.
Right.
I wanted to give like. The movie had already been through basically all the way to production, and then somebody like really sat down and listened to the lyrics like as it was playing through one of the sadder scenes, and they were like, "Oh no, oh no, this is too much." If somebody actually listens to this, they're really gonna think that we're trying to like promote something here.
Oh, I am with you 110% on that one. Tyler, I think you should probably go first.
Yeah.
You kind of came out of left field this week. What did you do?
All right. This week I chose A Stick, a Carrot, and String by Me Without You.
And the snake who held the world, a stick, a carrot, and a string was crushed beneath the foot of your not wanting anything.
So, you know, I wasn't really so much thinking about, like, coming up with, like, a cheesy, nonsensical, like, sort of, like, Christmas plot, but, like, I could definitely, like, get there, right? So, like, I'm choosing a song off the same album that I think I had featured before on the podcast. It's All Crazy, It's All False, It's All a Dream, It's All Right. Which is just this really great sort of, like, fusion of sort of, like, post-punk, like, alternative, and, like, sort of, like, fables and folk songs. And so, like, this song just is just so beautiful, and it's sort of, like, very, like, fable, like, almost, like, storytelling, like children's book version of, like, sort of, like, the birth of Christ. You know, and I really like all the sort of the personification of all these different characters. I think it's really fun. It's very cute. I think the song is really nice because it has, like, this nice accordion in it. And it's got, like, this little, like, jingle bells, I think is, you know, it is a Christmas song. It is quite literally a Christmas song. And so, like, I really enjoy it because of that, you know? And so, I think that this song is really... I think this song could be in a movie. You know, I think this could be a title track. You know, I think it has enough pop sensibilities in it. And I think you could definitely base, like, a story around, you know, maybe just... You know, it could be just more animal-focused. Like, it could be, like, you know, maybe there's, like... I feel like since these plots are so buck wild, it could just be like literally a farmer, you know, and they're like a businesswoman comes to town, and it's like maybe a little bit more like barnyard focused. She's like having to work the farm or whatever. It's like these don't have to be like a 1-to-1 sort of like situation. Which Taylor's about to say something.
I'm pretty sure
I'm
you
sure
just
it already
described
exists.
6 of these movies.
Yeah. So I mean, I definitely think the premise like sort of already kind of like fits, but like I was really kind of focusing on the sort of like the antiness of it, of how it got rejected. Like I imagine like someone in like the writer's room was like, you know, maybe it was like the intern or the guy's first day, and he's like, hey guys, you know, I got this really great idea, you know, like maybe it could be like an animated film, you know, maybe we could really play with some characters, you know, maybe we could take it to a different sort of like tone, different edge, and they're like, listen, buddy, if you're gonna make it here, you gotta follow the algorithm. What are you doing? You're not gonna last here while if you come over here with this inventive new age stuff. We want the same thing every time. So yeah, I don't know. I just thought it would be kind of like a fun song. You know, last time I chose a really dark song for a hard seltzer commercial, and I think I got a little bit closer to the edge of acceptable territory. So yeah.
I mean, this is definitely a safer pick than that one.
Yeah.
I will once again point out that you continue to pick songs from the album that sounds less like anything else this band has ever done.
Yes.
The album they specifically do not play live. But that's
One of
fine.
my favorites.
You know, whatever. That said, I do think there is a rejected Hallmark Christmas movie in this.
Yes.
In that, like you said, it is literally about Christmas, which these movies refuse to actually be. Also, the latter half of the song is about the crucifixion, and I do kind of like the idea that, like, it starts off as, like, this cutesy Christmas song and then becomes, like, the crucifixion story.
Yeah.
Which is just, like, let's really get to the point of what this is about, which is also maybe not what these movies are trying to do. There's no weight to anything that happens in a Hallmark movie.
No, absolutely not.
And Me Without You brings a lot of weight to these fables and these retellings. Really like the, I guess we could call it like post-rocky guitar solos. Like it feels very Explosions in the Sky, real like fast figure-picking electric guitar that I enjoy it. I think it mixes well with the accordion. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to say. It sounds a lot like the other Me Without You song you picked.
Yeah.
Which is fine, because it is what it is. I would like you to branch out and experience more of their catalog, but it's fine. That's more just a jab at you as opposed to the song.
Yeah, that's fine. Listen, if I had to pick some of my favorite songs of all time, surprisingly, these are some of them. The both songs I've picked. So I don't know, it's weird. You're right, though.
Let's see. If you're listening to this for the first time, just skip over until 145. Then the song actually gets good. Up until that point, it's mostly just some mumblecore squeezebox bullshit.
Oh!
But after that point, it's actually an astoundingly good song. Like, maybe it's just me, probably, because that's just who I am. But I really like the end of this song a lot. Like, maybe it's because the first part I'm just really not into that much. The second part I was like, wow, this is really cool. Especially that, like, Dick Dale guitar solo at the end. I was, like, really into it.
Yeah.
I think the problem is I couldn't see how this didn't work for a Hallmark movie song.
It's a little too close.
Like, yeah. Well, no, I feel like, I get it. It doesn't quite work, but at the same time, I was thinking, like, this is the soundtrack, like you said, to a semi-animated movie about somebody who lives in the city, probably a woman, who has to go back to the family farm when the family gets called away for another emergency on the other part of the country. So she comes home and she has to take care of all the pigs and cows and what eventually leads to be a nativity scene in about 90 minutes. And she realizes that actually true happiness is not found in this bleak coffee shop where she works and wears all black most of the day, but in fact, it's covered up to your knees in pig crap, working the honest land. And then the Christmas star shoots over the tree and everybody miraculously shows up and she realizes that she doesn't need to live in the city anymore, that happiness is found with family.
Well, I mean,
And this soundtrack's a little bit too good. That's what I mean. Like,
You needed to deviate a little bit.
I needed it to be more grotesque. Well, see, that was the problem. I was like, this is literally Christmas. It's like, it fits in, but I feel like a lot of these songs, you know, like if I just type in like Hallmark Christmas songs, it's like a lot of high production value, you know, it's like top of the charts, you know, it's like Leanne Rhymes and stuff, you know, it's like, there's these like heavy hitters of like the genre, you know, it's like maybe a little country twang to it, you know, like very sort of like, very polished work, and I feel like this is a much more sort of intimate, sort of like rough around the edges sort of song. And I was like, well, that'll be kind of like the roughness to it. But I mean, I ain't complaining.
I see that. I see that.
Agree to disagree.
It's kind of a stretch, but I see it.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, well, I guess I can go next. This week, I chose Love You for a Day, Hate You for a Week by the Pigeon Detectives.
Love you for a day, but then I'd hate you for a week. If there was something you could say, I'd tell you what to speak, to make things go much easier for you and me. I think
So, Pigeon Detectives are a band from Leeds in the UK. They follow in the footsteps of, you know, Arctic Monkeys, The Vines, like British garage rock of the mid to late 2000s. They were not super well known, but I, for whatever reason, found their first two albums and really enjoyed them. And, you know, this song is really not super remarkable. I do think that the guitar solos in it are kind of interesting, but otherwise, you know, it's like a Arctic Monkeys meets Oasis track, which is fine. What really got me, though, is this title. So, in order to explain my thinking here, I have to back up a little bit. When the Sex Pistols were recording their first album, Malcolm McLaren was really like trying to sell BDSM wear in his boutique, and he was their manager, and so he said, you should make a song called Submission. And they were like, absolutely not. And he was like, no, make a song. And so they made a song called Submission, but it's about a submission, like submarines. And it made it on the album, and it's hilarious. And so my thinking is, much like Tyler's situation, they wrap production on this movie, and they just tell the band, we need you to make the title track for a movie called Love You for a Day. And they were like, great, we can do that. And then it becomes Love You for a Day, Hate You for a Week. A movie about someone who is only in town for a day, and maybe we see this movie in real time. And they have to go through the whole accelerated Hallmark Christmas movie plot in 90 minutes real time. Because I just want to like truly capture how buck wild these concepts are. To like fall in and out of love with this person over the course of the week of Christmas. Like, let's just compress it down even more. Can you run into someone in the hot cocoa stand, spill hot cocoa on them, have them meet cute, get into an argument, fall apart, and then get back together and fall in love and experience the magical Christmas in exactly 90 real minutes? Maybe. Or maybe you'll love them for a day and hate them for a week.
You know, he's really trying hard to pitch us this avant-garde one-act musical that happens on like
single cam, no cuts.
Right. Exactly, yeah. It's the scenery is black. All that's around is just a like center lit from the top down for like coffee table.
I mean, it could be
with two chairs on either side.
Look, that's what I would
French
want
film.
to see. What I think this actually is just a Hallmark Channel Christmas movie about someone who is, you know, supposed to be in town for a day, and then their car breaks down and they get stuck there for a week.
And they fall in love.
Yes, that's what that movie actually is. I was trying to make it more interesting for you. But let's be real. It's like, I had to come in to sell this house, and then I'm leaving. And then they get stuck there and have to live in that house. and they love you for a day and hate you for a
If that movie
week.
plot was pitched 30 days earlier, it would have ended much differently than that.
He rolls off out of bed, says, "See ya, babe." And then he looks out the window and his car explodes spontaneously. He said, "Well, I said a lot of things I didn't mean." So-
Just play with
You
me
know
in
what,
this
Taylor?
space.
Incredible. It writes itself. So, I will give you this. This is a perfect inverse of the formula. You did great. But God, I really just don't want to hear like a dude complaining about this ever again in a song. Like, I'm just completely like over that. Like, but you know, I do respect the formula. I mean, like, this is like a band that people said were gonna be like a big hit, like gonna be a big deal. I mean, it looks like they're still like doing stuff, so that's cool. I think like I probably would like this band, but this song is just kind of like whatever for me. But I cannot get over that you somehow really managed to sell this as a movie for me. This is definitely like, all right.
It is the
My
theme
mind
song
is-
to a very bad movie.
Mind blown about the possibilities for a 1 day 90-minute romp.
Okay, so commentary about the song first. This is a very you pick. This is a very pop punky pick. I like the song. I think it's pretty good. I like that it's a little faster than what Tyler and I picked. I think it's a little bit of a stretch for a Hallmark movie because it's kind of pop punky. I'm gonna fill it in on how I work it into your movie, but I think it's a winner. I think the concept for the Hallmark movie, and I like your idea of doing it all. Like, I would be really interested in watching that. Just as I wish that Hallmark had an experimental holiday division.
Yes.
Where they tried out some of these ideas of like. They like Netflixed it, right?
Yeah.
Just like give us some ideas, and somebody pitched that. I would be interested. I think that would be more interesting than the movie that I saw this weekend. I forget what it was called. Get It in the Gucci or something. I forget. We're talking about it on whatever it was, the other show, Billy Joe Armstrong. But let's see. How does this one play out in the movie? Yeah, you're definitely right. It's 90 minutes, but this is what happens. I like Tyler's thing where you have to sell the house that you don't want. You can omit the whole part where you roll out of bed and just break up with whoever you were with the night before, if you were actually a thing. But this is definitely the closing scene where they're walking away from the house, and instead of selling it, they decide that it means too much to them, so they just blow it up. And it's like
Okay.
It's like the Die Hard action scene where you just get like boom, 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 like the windows are going out in directions. And it's like, if no one can have it, then Christmas can or something, you know, like it's got to have some really like tacky ass line that like ho ho ho, and then basically as he says ho ho ho, the explosions go off in the background. This is like kind of backing it up, right? Like,
You guys, I think they need to hire Sean. I think he's actually the best holiday movie screenwriter.
I'm very flattered, but
I feel like that's really the Sean's jazz. Is I feel like he's an idea man. He says, "Let me come up with let me get some word vomit out. We can make $1 million here in a day. Don't you worry."
He says, "You've got 90 minutes of airtime for a Saturday in November. I've got you,
Babe, I got you. Don't you
imagine that Die Hard meets Christmas Rabbit. Okay, we're gonna put it all together.
All right, Sean, that just leaves you.
All right, so this week I chose "Pressure to Party" by Julia Jacklin.
Drinking, I would run shoes off straight back to you. I know where you live. I used to live there too. Pressure to feel fine after the fact. Out on the dance floor with my body back. Meeting a stranger, touching his face. I don't want anyone to ever take your place. Pressure to go straight.
I'm fairly new to this song and to this artist because the process that I went through when looking for it was like, okay, I need to find like I had a good conversation a couple weeks ago at a bike race about sad girl music, And I realized that I really like sad girl music. I think it's I'm just into it right now. So I went for Courtney Barnett because I was like, she's got to have a good song that would work on a Hallmark show, on like a Hallmark movie as a soundtrack, but would be a little bit too much, right? So I was like going through, and I'm on YouTube and Spotify, and I'm just like searching through the stuff. And I was on YouTube this afternoon, and this song came up, and I was like, oh yeah, I like this sound. And then I started listening to it, and I was like, oh yeah, this is a really, really sad song. But this could pass, right? Like this, I feel like this song, if you just listen to it on the soundtrack, it's like has enough poppiness to be kind of like maybe about the drive home song. But then once you listen to it, it's definitely about someone's whole life has fallen apart, and they're like, someone's trying to tell them to make the best of it, and they just don't want to hear it. And I'm like, maybe this isn't the right, like this would probably be the worst audience that wants, like, you don't want to hear this on your holiday. Probably like a bunch of like, I just imagine like my mom is not going to be receptive that much probably to hearing a song about how like, just stiff it out, you know, it's been buck up, you know, just put a happy face on, and totally rebelling against that. Like I think the message is there, but it's not the right time for that. So that's kind of how I got this. Now, I think the song is really beautiful. I like the guitar sounds. I love the drum sounds. I like the way that she sings. Her cadence and lyrics are really beautiful. There's just so much going on in this song that I absolutely love. I'm trying to think, like, how would I play this out in my head, though? Like, what is the scene for this?
Oh, I've got you.
And I feel like...
you.
Okay, go for it.
Taylor's ready.
See, I think this is the song that plays at the holiday party, because all of these movies have a party.
Of course.
But the twist this time around is that, you know, our main character is looking for their love interest and can't find them, and is wandering through the party alone to this song. And like you said at the top of the show, it's meant to be this kind of like somewhat bittersweet pop song, but if you really read the lyrics, you'd be like, oh god, this person is going to wallow in sadness for months. They're about to go through a dark night of the soul. They'll try to love again soon, I guess. They don't want that pressure to party.
So what's the closure to that? Because it's a Hallmark movie. You have to have, it's like a...
Well, clearly, let's say our heroine, just to keep it heteronormative, because most of these movies are, wanders out into the snow without her jacket, looking for her man, and there he is, under the gazebo, staring out towards the lake, and he offers her his jacket as this song fades out, and they have a meaningful conversation.
Oh, it's a happy ending.
Yeah, why not?
Well, yeah, because these movies have to have a happy ending.
Well, I was thinking about this being earlier in the movie. I was thinking that maybe she stumbles out into the snow and goes behind the barn, and he's back there, you know.
Oh, with somebody else.
Getting it in with the
milkmaid?
You know, the town tart. You know, and that's how she discovered. That's how you know. And then she looks up right behind her, and the mistletoe's hanging down, and it's just like you're just like it completes the scene. It just kind of fades to black, and you're just like, oh, what's gonna happen in scene 2?
Maybe.
The problem is that this is like a perfect song for like an end credit scene of like a CW show.
It is actually, yes. It really is that.
Which isn't like the dig you think it is.
No.
I'm just saying that's like...
I mean, it could also be for like a Hulu original or something like that. I do like... I like that she has wrapped this really depressing song in what is otherwise a very like unassuming package. Her voice is very middle of the road. Not like mediocre, but like she's giving you a standard kind of pop rock girl delivery. Her Australian accent gives it a little bit of flavor, but if you weren't looking for the sadness, you wouldn't know it was there, and I think that's what makes it fun.
I mean, I think it still works, even in the fact that it's like sort of like still not the genre, the sort of tone that I feel like these movies would even have to begin with. Like, just... Nope.
Yeah, this is not what they're looking for.
No, you know, like, Mariah Carey's not going to be doing a cover of the song at any time. So like you're
no.
like it nails that just right off the bat. But like this song has been, I think I have this on my as a liked song, but I haven't really dug too much into this album. I think I need to go back and give this a more thorough listen because like, yeah, I think it's interesting to call it. I wouldn't necessarily say it's sad girl, but for the sake of like grouping the general sort of like sound together, it's woman with guitar singing about their feelings, which is like great, love that. Can't get enough of it. But yeah, I think this, is it only doesn't work in the fact that it's so unassuming. That like because it's so covered up in the sort of feel good like instrumental that the lyrics are sort of like can be really sort of like be put in the background, like you don't have to really focus on them too much. I think that's the only part that sort of like makes it like but yeah, I mean like basically we've already said, read the lyrics and you're like, oh this is upsetting. so yeah, it's a good pick.
All right, and with that, it's time for notable B-sides. These were songs that were so close to getting on the playlist, but, well, naughty list.
Naughty listed.
I have 3, and they were all just a little too obvious. I Don't Love You by My Chemical Romance, Love and Eruption by Jack White, and Love Is Not Enough by 9 Inch Nails.
Wow, love, 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 all the way down.
We love to love, love.
You know, some of the things I was thinking about were like more trying to be Christmassy, but like sort of just out of the wheelhouse. Like, It's Not Christmas Till Somebody Cries by Carly Rae Jepsen is like, I feel like you could get it to work. Like, it's not very hard to get it there. It's just sort of not really like the kind of vibe that I feel like Hallmark goes for. Like, oh, isn't this ironic? And I kind of went into a small dive into, like, I was like, what if I just type in Christmas lo-fi? And I just found, like, a bunch of, like, Christmas lo-fi cover chill beats that were, like, really weird. I was like, I mean, it's a different kind of vibe. Christmas is, like, you up? So it's a little different, but yeah, so, I was a little timid this week, so.
Well, I was going to say Courtney Barnett was where I started at. I can't honestly remember the names of the songs that I kind of fell through, but like Snail Mail ends up on there, like the whole kind of subset, like Phoebe Bridgers ends up in this group. I just figured there was probably like a winner amongst that genre, and it made sense for what I really kind of wanted to do and play on here. So, I'll just plug Julia Jacqueline here. Just go listen to her music. Actually, this is a little bit more of an up-tempo song than some of the other stuff that I've heard from her, and I like her more jazzier sound to it, and it's like really lyrical focused. So I don't know. Give her a listen. I think you'll really like it if you like this song. If you're just looking for some nice like down-tempo stuff to listen to with some good lyrics, high quality, great work.
Well, Tyler, if people want to sip hot cocoa with you, where can they do that?
You can find my design illustration work at rudepets.club, and as always, you can find me on socials as rudepetsclub on Instagram and Twitter.
Sean, if people need to order a last-minute Christmas tree from you, where can they get it?
You can find me on Instagram at TallySean.
And if you are looking for a holiday potluck to attend, you can tweet at me at TC Olmstead, and all of these songs will be on the official No Repeat Podcast playlist. We are off to record our Patreon-exclusive bonus show, Billy Joe Armstrong's Middle School Notebook. It's an extra podcast we do every month where we talk about the state of the music industry, songs we like, that kind of thing. You can get it by paying $1 a month on Patreon. Link in the show notes. And we'll be back next week with another episode of No Repeat.